Hello and welcome to the Fairy Little podcast. I'm Marsha, also known as Fairy Little, and this is my podcast all about knitting. Today we are going to be talking about works in progress, finished objects, and Jibber Jabber. Also, I'm going to be drawing prizes for a prize for our mindless knit along that we just finished today. Actually, it's November the 15th. I'm Marsha, also known as Fairy Little, and you can find me on Instagram and Ravelry. And I am not wearing my glasses today because I find that there's a bit of a glare off of them, and I'm actually recording a lot later than I usually do. I usually record in the morning, and it is actually in the evening. So I'm going to be just chatting with you tonight and going over all of these lovely things that I have been working on. The past couple months have been amazing. I went through Vlogtober, which was a lot of fun, and I have a lot of great ideas coming out of Vlogtober. A lot of people asked me some very great questions as to more tutorials and that sort of thing. So I'm really excited to be getting some of those things recorded and put up on the podcast as well, on the podcast page, YouTube page, for your enjoyment. I just want to mention a couple things. What I'm wearing is the flax sweater by Untitled, and it is knit with Isis Fiber Arts yarn and in her worsted weight. And this up here has nice sound effects, hey? This is my Sorrento shawl that came out in May. So that is knit in 3 different designer's yarn. There is the pink that you see at the top and along the edge. That yarn is a homespun house yarn. And then the yellow is Isis Fiber Arts yarn. And the speckled pops of color, beautifulness here that has the pink and the yellow in it, is from the lovely Kay Jones from the Baker Bears podcast. That's her yarn. So those yarns go beautifully together. And I just wanted to share all of those things because I get questions about what's happening in my background and I don't always address that. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that this time. I have been knitting away. I have some secret knitting that I can't share with you quite yet. But I have gotten a lot of other knitting done that I can share with you, which is really good. And I do have some Jibber Jabber at the very end, which is just me talking about my life and what's going on. The mindless knit along has just ended today. So I drew a name using, well, I just asked Siri to pick a number, which was a random number generator. Just going to do the prize for the mindless knit along first thing, and we will do that, and then whoever the winner is can contact me and I will send it out to you right away. So this bag, this lovely bag, was donated, and it's a Longview Creations bag, and this bag is so well made. This fabric is gorgeous. It is heavier duty. And it's got a beautiful little yarn zipper pull on it, which is a yarn ball and knitting needles. And my words are running into each other. And it's beautifully lined with this nice, like light brown, leafy kind of fabric, and its leaves on the outside, which is beautiful, and these just beautiful little stripes on the bottom. So on Ravelry, it's Christmas7, who is Longview Creations, and her shop is on Etsy. So you can go see her at www.etsy.com /ca/shop/Longview Creations. And I'll have that written across here so you will be able to see it. Also, I try to link that information below. So if you're curious, just look in the down bar, and I usually have all of my links down there. For podcasts, I talk about people who donate and different things I talk about. Usually I have the clickable links. I don't necessarily go into a lot of detail in the down bar, but it just makes it handier to have all that information there because I know I'm one who likes to have everything at my fingertips. And this beautiful Alison Barnes yarn in the Jazzercise colorway is so stunning, and she donated this yarn as a giveaway, so I'm just including that in the bag as well. And this yarn is so gorgeous. I wish I was keeping it. And it is 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon, and it's 420 yards. And this yarn just makes me super happy. It's totally my colors, like black and white and yellow and pink. I just love it. It's so gorgeous, and it feels so nice on your hands, and it would make a beautiful hat or socks or like finger weight gloves even. It would just be beautiful. It is so gorgeous, and thank you so much for these beautiful donations. I've also thrown in a couple extra things here, which is these cool little scissors from clemscottdesigns.com, and they donated a whole bunch of scissors and buttons. So these are mother of pearl buttons, and they're triangular shaped. They're so cute. And she donated these were sent to me as part of giveaway, and it was included in a large package, so I get to give these away as the podcast goes on. So I'm throwing those in there as well, and it makes a beautiful, beautiful prize package that I'm so excited to send out to you. So I drew a name from the Mindless Knit Along. Now, if you don't know, the Mindless Knit Along is a knit along that was mindless knits to go over the like retreat and event season of the autumn, so that when you're visiting with people and hanging out, that you can just knit on something that doesn't require a lot of thought and just enjoy yourself. And so there were, I do believe 80 entries, and so many fun things were entered in there. If you're interested, just click down below and it'll take you to the Ravelry group, and you can just click on that tab. It's been locked now because I already drew a name. But the winner, without further ado, was entry number 37, who is M's Little Nest, who is Emma, and she knit up the 6-pence socks, and she said that they were just a super simple mindless knit, which is fabulous, and they look really pretty, and they're so pretty. So congratulations, Emma. Just get a hold of me. Instagram's probably the best place to get a hold of me, and give me your email or your mailing address so I can ship this to you, or you can get a hold of me on Ravelry, and I will mail it to you from there. So thank you to everybody who entered to win, and I'm so glad that this is going to be going out to you, Emma. So congratulations. I just spent the last hour in Ravelry. I don't spend a lot of time in Ravelry, actually, to be honest. And my friend Mina, when I was visiting her, she said that there is a way that I can get my Ravelry messages forwarded to my email. And this like blew my mind. So I need to go and do that, because I can be remiss on responding to things in Ravelry. It's not that I don't want to respond. I just don't even think to go into, like, I go into Ravelry, but I don't go into my Ravelry messages as often as I should, and I need to correct that. That's totally on me. But there's a way I can link it to my email, and I'm going to figure out how to do that so that I respond quicker, because it's not my first place to go, if that makes sense. So I just want to make sure that I am responding to things promptly, and I don't want anybody waiting. And because of that, I have a large list of things that people have sent for donations, and things that lovely viewers have sent to me as gifts, and I so appreciate every single one of them, and I will be talking about every one of them today. I just want to take a second and welcome all of the viewers that have watched before and have subscribed, and a welcome to all of the new people who have decided to join this little piece of the internet and subscribe to the podcast. There has been in the last couple weeks, there's been a huge influx, even in the last month, of new subscribers, and I just want to say welcome and thank you so much for subscribing. It means so much to me, and I appreciate every single one of you. So I don't know where to start. I think I will begin with finished objects. because there's a couple. There's a couple that I can't talk about, but there is I knit over 3,200 yards of yarn in the last couple weeks. It has been a lot of knitting. And I can't show you that yet. It's a new design and it's going out to my tech editor. Once my tech editor has my pattern in her hands and she's working on it, I will be showing you guys what it is and what it looks like. And it will be going out to her this week. That will be happening this week, and I'm so excited. And my tech editor is Fatima, who has her own podcast, which is called the Knit Knacker Natters podcast. It's like a tongue twister for me, so it always takes me a second to be able to say it. I try a couple times and then it finally comes out. So she is my tech editor and she's so lovely to work with, and she will probably have it back to me fairly quickly. I don't want to put any extra pressure on her, but she's a lovely tech editor and she is really good, and I feel like we're a really good team. So usually we work together very quickly to get things rolling, and I don't want to send this particular pattern out to test knitters until it has been really gone through and really checked, because there are some new skills in it for possibly some of the lovely people who will be knitting it. So I want to make sure it's as clear as possible and not confusing. And once you get into it, it's a very, very simple, intuitive knit. It's not difficult. I don't want to confuse you at all and make you think that it's a difficult pattern. It's probably one of my simplest patterns, but because of the kind of stitch it is, I just want to make sure that it's written very clearly. So I'm going to go into some finished objects. So when I went to when I went to Rhinebeck, I had finished my Rhinebeck sweater, which is one of my designs, and it's called the Skaha sweater, and it fits me so well, you guys. I loved wearing it, and I wore it for almost I made it to about 2 o'clock in the sweater on the Saturday of Rhinebeck, and I loved how it looked and how it felt and everything about it. And I ended up knitting a couple things that matched. I can't show you one of the things because it's being washed right now, but I knit a matching hat to go with it, which was a super just simple knit. And I'll probably just write up this pattern just as a simple pattern. It's, you know, and there might even be a pattern out there that exists that's this exact hat. I don't know. I don't tend to look online to see if there's something that I'm thinking of knitting, because I just want to make it clear that I came up with it on my own, I guess. Like, there's one thing to be said for being inspired by a certain look or style, which definitely I have been inspired by different things. But this hat's so simple. I would be surprised if it didn't already exist out there in the knitiverse. So it would be something that if I wrote it up, it would just be a simple free pattern. So, and I might actually include it with an update for the sweater so that there's a matching hat to go with the sweater. I don't know yet. I'm still mulling that over. But I also knit some matching leg warmers to go with it, because everybody, I feel like, needs leg warmers unless they live in a really hot climate and don't love the 80s also, or don't love the 80s. But the leg warmers I did, they were very nice. It was definitely not the weather for a sweater, a hat, and leg warmers at Rhinebeck. So I lost those fairly quickly. I took them off fairly quickly. So those are some of my finished objects. And I think that that's actually, other than my secret stuff, that's all of my finished objects for now. And the knitting time actually has been cut back drastically, and I will get into that in my Jibber Jabber section at the end. Yeah, so, and it will all come clear if you don't already know. So I'm going to go into works in progress. So once I cast off the last thing I was working on, my new design, I picked these up again, and they are these beautiful socks. And I've talked about them previously on another episode, and I absolutely cannot remember the colorway at all, and I lost the tag somewhere. But it's Biscotti yarns, and this is the first time I've used this Biscotti yarns, and it's purple and black and gray, and I am a sucker for black separating colors. That is my jam, and I don't know why I love it so much. I just do. I love it in everything. I love it in shawls, and I have a sweater that I knit that has it, and it's a colorwork sweater that I knit that has that black separation, and it just makes my heart so happy. This yarn is incredibly soft, and I had forgotten how much I loved knitting with this yarn. So I am just really, really enjoying each stitch. I am taking my time with this. I'm just spending some time with the yarn right now. It is so beautiful. And I did a heel flap and gusset, which hasn't been my go-to, but I just feel like I don't have enough socks that have variation in them. So these are my heel flap and gusset, and this is the heel flap and gusset that I use is from Laura Neal's book Sock Architecture, and the heel that I used is from her Strie Sock. And I know that Laura follows me on Instagram. I don't know if she watches this podcast, but this is an amazing heel. Another work in progress that I have is my Doctor Who scarf. And this is, oh, I love it. I'm still knitting it. It's still the thing that I like to knit while I'm waiting for things, and I haven't been knitting on it monogamously, or if I had, it would be done by now. But I have gotten quite a bit of it done. It's quite long. It's been folded up. That's why it looks all wrinkly. And I am knitting it on a 3.5 millimeter needle. And the yarn is by the Yarn Therapist. And she is on Etsy. It's the Doctor Who scarf kit. And I got the 80 superwash merino, 10% cashmere, 10% nylon. So there's 300 grams for the tassels, I think. No, 300 grams for the body, which is 1,200 meters, not yards, meters. And then there's a second little ball that comes with it for the tassels. So that's for the tassels. And this is for the scarf, and I'm just pulling it from the center because that's the way you're supposed to do it. And it's tied on the outside to just keep everything organized, and it is so nice and squishy. I definitely recommend this yarn. If you have not knit it with her yarn, please give it a try. Also, if you are a Doctor Who fan, then also this is beautiful. So this is from the doctor who was, he was Baker, and I can't remember which doctor number he was anymore. I did know. I'll write it down here. But he was the first doctor that I ever watched, and it was Doctor Who, and it was from the 70s, but I watched it in the 80s, and we had a rule in our house that we weren't allowed to stay up on Sunday nights before school unless we watched Doctor Who. So we watched a lot of Doctor Who just so we could stay up later. And so it's kind of in me now. So this is the doctor that has the super long scarf. And what I did here is I'll just show this to you because it is self-striping. If I just knit it completely in garter stitch, what I was getting is rows at the ends, and alternately it was striping like it does on the wrong side. You'll see right there. It was doing that on both sides, and I wasn't quite a fan of that, and I had gotten to about here. And so I ripped the whole thing back to here and chose to do wherever the rows change color, I just do a purl row there. So it's a knit row, a purl row, and a knit row. So there ends up being like a section of stockinette in there, but you don't really notice it from afar. It's a little bit of a change in texture, which I love texture. So that's something that I love. But this is so squishy and lovely. So it's actually going to be a gift, and I'm super excited about it. It's coming along beautifully, and I can't wait till it's finished. So I'm so excited about it. I also have some Knit Picks yarn called Time Traveler, which is essentially the same. It's not the same colors, but it's kind of the same palette of colors. And it's Knit Picks version. They don't call it Doctor Who, probably because of copyright or something. They just call it Time Traveler, maybe because it's loosely based on it. But I have that as well to knit a pair of socks out of, which I'm going to do matching socks to match this. So, and we're getting close to the holiday season, so that will need to get knit up fairly quickly so that I can put it aside and continue on. Is anybody doing holiday knitting this year? I'm not planning on it. I might. I'm not planning on it. It will probably happen. It usually does around this time of year. I just start knitting a bunch of small things or sweaters or whatever for Christmas. But I don't go into December usually. Well, I don't know. Maybe I do with a plan. I don't have a plan this year. How about that? So this is the Knit Picks yarn that's called Time Traveler, and it's the Knit Picks Felici. So it has it's got pink and brown and purple and blue and cream. So it's kind of the same colors. They're very close. And there's a little bit of green in there too, I think. There might be, maybe not. But yeah. Oh, they smell so good. They're going to look really nice together. So I'm super excited about that. I just love knitting, you guys. Okay, so that is it, I think, for my works in progress. I have a couple other designs I've been working on. Those are just kind of, I'll just trudge along on those. Continuing on. In the Ravelry thread, in the Ravelry group, I have a Ask Me Anything thread. And one of the lovely viewers, who is Cece Carey, who is Cece, sorry Cece, she asked me a question in that thread. It's the very first question in that thread. And the question was, what is the name of the music that I've been having? Normally I use just the iTunes music. That is the Traveler one, I do believe, for the theme music. But over the Vlogtober, I used a different music. I used a couple different ones, but the one that I got the most questions on, and Cece asked me about this one in particular, is a song called Knitting. And it is by a group called Bubba, and it is from iTunes. And I just wanted to share that with you because I've gotten so many questions below episodes. What is this music? I want to hear it. There is a section of that song that I did purposefully edit out. So if you buy that song, then you'll hear it in its entirety, and then you'll hear the part that I purposefully edit out. But it's, the rest of the song is beautiful, and I love their sound. So it is available on iTunes, and they do have a record or an album that you can purchase. So, and I met Cece at Rhinebeck. So that is really exciting as well. So getting to meet viewers and then having other conversations and being able to relate it back is amazing. And Cece was wonderful to meet. I enjoyed myself so much with her. She's just a fabulous, fabulous lady. And I'm just so glad for the opportunity to have gone to New York, to have met so many people and get some faces to go with the names and chat with people and to get to know their personalities. And she just has this beautiful, outgoing personality that was wonderful to meet you, Cece. Thank you so much for coming and introducing yourself to me and for asking a question in the Ask Me Anything thread. So in October was my birthday. And it was over Vlogtober, my birthday happened, and I just put a vlog out there saying the day that it was my birthday and what I was planning on doing. And so I like to go and do things for my birthday. And I have a good time on my birthday usually. It's pretty fun. We usually do some sort of dress up thing. One of my best friend Ella and I have our birthdays. They're about 5 days apart, so I think 6 days apart. So we usually do something combined. We go for dinner and, you know, dress up and do something fun together. And this year we didn't end up doing anything because my birthday was during the week and hers was on the weekend, and I was in Rhinebeck over my birthday weekend, which was after my birthday. So my birthday was October 15th and I left for Rhinebeck on the 18th. So I left 3 days after my birthday. And so we didn't actually end up going out and doing things. We ended up having lunch together, which was lovely. But there were a couple viewers who sent me some lovely patterns in Ravelry. And one of the patterns was sent to me by Melinda, who is Yarnder Woman of the Yarnder Woman podcast, and she is so lovely. Melinda and I have gotten to know each other through podcasting and through Instagram and Ravelry, and we definitely connect, and I really enjoy her and her, she just has a gentle nature, I feel like. So she just has a very caring spirit, and she is one of those people that is just she always brightens my day. And I just adore her. She is so lovely, and if you haven't checked out her podcast, definitely go take a look. The link to her podcast will be down below. And she gave me a pattern from Shora Lambeth Designs called the Fernshaw Shawl, and it's beautiful, and I'll post a photo in here for you to take a look at it, and it's just so lovely, and it was such a thoughtful thing for her to send that to me, and I just really appreciate it, and I just really want to say thank you so much, Melinda, for that beautiful gift. I was also sent some patterns from some other lovely designers, and this is an area that, because I'm not constantly checking my Ravelry messages, it's an area that I can definitely improve, and I'm going to strive to improve in this area. And so there are quite a few pattern gifts and prizes that have been donated to the podcast. I'm just going to go through those and let you guys know what they are, and also that I'll be doing giveaways for these beautiful gifts that have been given to me, and one to you as well as I also have a discount for any watchers of the podcast from a bag designer. So there's a couple things in there. So my friend Barbara, who lives in Ireland, who's a Polish knitter, Polish lady living in Ireland, has the Knitting I Love podcast, and she is so lovely, and her podcast is wonderful, and she does little videos of finished objects, and she has a podcast as well where she talks about what she's working on, and she also is a designer. And over the last 6 months, she's come up with 2 different hat designs, and she's given me a copy of both of these hat designs. One is called the Asohodel Potion Hat, which was a Halloween inspired hat, which she was said that would be great to knit over Halloween, but I wasn't podcasting at that point, so it's had to wait till now to talk about. But I'm going to also be giving away a copy of this hat and the Forgotten Path hat as well, and I'll be doing a giveaway for that hat as well. So thank you so much, Barbara, for sending that to me. And I really so much do appreciate it, and I apologize that I didn't get back to you a little bit sooner about, or put it into the podcast a little bit sooner. I also received a pattern from Quilter Caroline, who is Caroline, and she came out with 2 different patterns. One's called Mountain Air and one is called Mountain Path, and these patterns are both stunning. They are gorgeous, and if you are a shawl knitter, definitely go and take a look, and I should have them linked below, so you should be able to just click on the link and it should take you right there. Her patterns, they're so pretty and so well thought out. I have not personally knit them yet, but I do have plans to go ahead and knit one of those, so I'm really excited about that. And another shawl that was given to me by Vikki, who is Dviksta Knits, and she is actually a friend of mine, and we hung out at Rhinebeck and Knit City, and we've seen each other at Knit City a few times, and she is just a lovely, lovely lady, and she has the Dviksta Knits podcast, and she is so much fun to hang out with, and she was one of the people that was outside of the Needles Up event that was in Rhinebeck, the town, a village, and she was hanging out there, and so it was really great to see her. And she sent me the So Close Shawl and that she designed, and she's also offered one up as a giveaway as well. So we will be doing a giveaway for that shawl as well, and it is beautiful, and I got to see it in person at Knit City, and it was so stunning. It caught my eye, and at that point I hadn't realized that she'd sent me a copy, so I was oogling and oohing and awing over it, and she mentioned that she'd sent me a copy at that point, and I was like, oh well, thank you. So thank you so much, Vikki, and thank you everybody who has sent me a design. I really appreciate it, and I have found out, Mina mentioned when I was visiting that I can link my Ravelry messages to my email, which is something I'm going to try to figure out to do, and link it straight across so that I can receive my messages right away, and so I'll respond to them in a more timely manner. And we were also given a coupon code for FrogPeak Creations, who is on Etsy, and she gave us a 10% off until the year end, till the end of the year, so until December 31st, and the code for that is Fairy 2017, all capitals. And she is a lovely bag designer, and I have a couple of her bags, and I have enjoyed them immensely, and her fabrics that she chooses are very beautiful. So I just wanted to share all of those things with you. Definitely check out her Etsy shop and take a look in the links below if you're interested in anything that I've spoken about, because the link should be down there. If it's not, let me know and I will put the link down there. So if I miss anything, because I am human, so sometimes that does happen. On to Jibber Jabber. So I obviously did Vlogtober, which was a lot of fun. I don't know if I'll do that into the future, but I did have a good time doing it. So I'm glad that I took that opportunity to do Vlogtober, and I did enjoy myself, and quite a few of you did enjoy my vlogs as well. I just found it was a lot of work for me to upload and record and edit even the small chunks that I did on a day-to-day basis, and I wanted to make sure that I had some interesting content. There was some how I knit things, there was some how I there was how I weave in ends, which was done on black yarn, which was a terrible, terrible, terrible idea, and I apologize. But once I'd done it, I had the footage and I needed something for that day, so it got put out there. Also how I pick up for an afterthought heel. I did that video, and yeah, and there was some stuff involving my sweater that I was working on, weaving in ends and that sort of thing. So there was a little chunk of everything. It wasn't super what I was doing through the day kind of vlogs. There was a little bit of that, but not a whole lot of that. I just yeah, I just wanted something a little bit different, and I feel like a lot of you enjoyed that, so I really appreciate all of the positive feedback that I've gotten on that. And yeah, so I really thank you so much. So I went to Knit City, which you guys got to see the videos on that. I had my birthday, and then I went to Rhinebeck, which I've already talked about that. At Rhinebeck, I received a few gifts from some lovely people. And one of them I totally forgot upstairs. It is a beautiful mug that it's pink and it's knitted, and you guys will definitely be seeing that in the future. I've just been using it every single day, so it's dirty right now. And it was given to me by a lovely podcaster who we were sharing the cabin with. Her name is Jen from the Uncreative Crafter podcast, and I just love the mug so much. It's so nice, and it was so thoughtful, and yeah, I almost started crying because it was just so lovely. But then I received some other beautiful things. I received this from Lori, and she has the Intuitknits podcast, which is based out of Canada. And it is a shawl pin. Well, it's not really a pin, but you put a shawl and then you clip that through. But it's gorgeous, and I was actually looking for one. So I'm super, super excited that I can wear this with my shawl, and it actually goes really nicely with this one. And so I'm very happy with it, and it was a lovely, lovely gift to receive. Thank you so much, Lori. It was very, very thoughtful of you. There we go. It's beautiful. And I received quite a few pins, and I have this beautiful bag of pins, and I was not a pin collector till I started going to knitting events, because that's what we do, I guess. And I love it. I'm so excited about all of these pins. They are so fantastic. I met so many great, wonderful knitters over September, October. This just fell off. So I don't know if you guys are pin collectors, but some of you are, I know. And I gave away a ton of pins, so I got a whole bunch of pins from trading, and it was so wonderful. It was so great to meet so many people, and I kind of like the sound it makes too. So when I was going through customs, I had this bag of pins. It was a plastic bag full of pins, and they asked me to open my bag, and I said, yep, I have a bag of pins. They're like, yeah, we see that. We know that's there. They're like, but what is this? And it was a bag that I had with all of my like makeup stuff in it. And I had it in a plastic bag, but it wasn't their size of a plastic bag. So they told me I had to move it over into this other bag, and it had to fit. So I moved it over, but they weren't concerned about the pins at all. They could have cared less. So that was really interesting for me. And long story short, I did have a small enough amount of product that fit in my little bag, so it was perfect. Some of these I have lost the tags for over the last little bit of time. So this was given to me, this hand spun yarn. It's Sweet Georgia BFL 2-ply in the Smitten colorway. So beautiful. And this was given to me by another podcaster who is They Spin, and they have a wonderful podcast. I think it's fairly new. And Catherine gave this to me, so that was so lovely. And I also received this, but I'm so sorry, I can't remember who gave this to me, but it's such a cute little notions pouch, and you just open it up and it just holds everything, and it actually opens all the way up so it turns flat, which is really cool. Really, really cool. And I love campers, so this definitely made my heart so happy. I was speaking with somebody there as well, and she does knitting retreats, and there's 2 knitting retreats in 2018 coming up. One is the Schloss Muchenweiler, and one is the Rhinebeck. And so they're in Switzerland, and there's classes by Nancy Marchand, Simone Carrit, and local artists and shepherds. And these are, I've heard of these retreats before. They're pretty well, pretty dialed in, I guess. And there's only a small amount of space, so it's at knitteratiretreats.com if you're interested. It's very, very limited space though for those retreats. And another thing that I received, and this is from Kate of the Hawthorn Cottage, and she gave me a little mini of yarn, and oops, and this little DPN cozy, which is so cute, with a little map on it, which I love. And she is from Ireland, and we actually were going to meet up when I was in Ireland last time, but I got food poisoning. What the luck, hey? And so this is her Hawthorn Cottage Crafts, and I do believe she has an Etsy shop, and so that's a DPN and DPN cozy, and this is her card. Yeah, it's an Etsy shop, and she gave me a little progress keeper, which is a little cottage, which is super cute. So thank you so much, Kate. I appreciate it. It was a nice treat, a nice little surprise. Now it's given a bunch of little cards and that sort of thing as well, but I'm not going to show you all of those. But I did receive this little sachet, and it smells so good. From Steel City Stitchers, who is www.steelcitystitchers.etsy.com. And this is just a little sachet that is, what does that smell? You guys know what it is. It's so late for me to be podcasting. My brain is just not working as well as it should. Lavender. That's what it is. It's lavender, and it smells so good. I need to put it in something. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And it was wonderful meeting everybody. So on to Jibber Jabber for real this time. So I went to Knit City, and then my birthday, and then to Rhinebeck, and then home. I've still been kind of a little bit under the weather since I got back. I feel it's a change in season, so I'm feeling a lot more tired and nasally and that sort of thing, but the nasaliness is as well because of what I'm about to tell you. So a couple weeks ago, about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, we had our washing machine, the shutoff valve for the water broke, and so our washing machine filled with water, and then the door blew open. there was a load in there, but it had finished, so the door was unlocked, because it's the kind that locks while it's in progress and then it unlocks when it's done. It was done, so it filled up with water. The door blew open, clothes and water shot straight out everywhere, and the water, because the shut-off valve didn't work, was going into the machine and out onto the floor, into the machine and out onto the floor. So it was just this constant stream of water. So I woke up, my room was downstairs, to water dripping into my bedroom on 2 different sides. And then girls running into my room telling me that there's this flood upstairs. So I run upstairs and there's the good couple inches of water on the floor, and I'd grabbed towels on my way up and just threw them on the floor, and I turned off the water. And it took me a second to realize what was going on, and then I turned off the water at the source and just grabbed a bucket and started wringing out towels, and I wrung out towels for a couple hours, and there was a lot of damage done. We are in the middle of a really big insurance claim, and when they pulled up the floor, they found some more damage that is not covered under the insurance claim because it had been a pre-existing issue that we had no idea was happening. So at this point today, I have ripped out some more wall and some more ceiling downstairs. All of our floors in that room and downstairs have been taken out. That part's covered by the insurance, but we have some flooring that has subfloor that is totally rotted, and some trusses that have, or we have some supports running across underneath the floor that need to be replaced. So there's some major structural stuff that has to be done. And today I was also outside taking off stucco from the outside of the house, because we are going to have to take the stucco off the house and rewrap the house and put new siding on. And none of that is going to be covered by the insurance. So this is where my head has been at, and that's why I've been a little bit separated from social media, because I have been doing so much stuff involving this claim and talking to contractors and getting quotes and that sort of thing to get things done. And today and a couple days ago it was raining, so we had water essentially coming in from outside straight into our basement, which was not fun. And so I ended up having to clean up all of that stuff. So I don't know what the next couple weeks is going to look like, and I don't want to promise anything if we are in the middle of doing a big massive renovation. I don't want to say that I'm going to be here in a week or in 2 weeks if I just am knee high in siding and and gyprock and that sort of thing, and doing that sort of stuff. But I hope that by later this week we will have a game plan set out as to how everything's going to be done, and get some quotes on what needs to be done and how much it's going to cost and that sort of thing. So so that should be later this week. Hopefully then I'll be able to plan. At this point I can't even plan, because I have no idea what it's going to be like in the house with having working people coming in and out and doing flooring and ceilings and support beams and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's just a big job right now, and I definitely wanted to come in and say hi. Scylla was just here. She convocated yesterday for her master's degree, so she has her master's totally all done. She's already started her PhD. She started in September, so she's going to be a doctor, and she's working on that right now, and I'm so proud of her. I couldn't be prouder. And I was hoping that while she was here we would be able to do some recording together, but we're just enjoying just being in each other's space. So it was really nice, and the girls really missed her, so that was really good for them to have time together. Over the last month, even month and a half, I've received a ton of messages from people through Ravelry and Instagram regarding things that they would like to see from this YouTube channel, and I'm really excited about it. I'm going to be doing some more like actual tutorials that will be coming up, and those are things that I might be able to put up in the in-between because they're shorter and they're easier to put together. And so some more tutorials, that sort of thing. I'll finish my design and send it off to the tech editor, and then you guys will get to see a sneak peek of that. And yeah, so I think that's it for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me as always. I appreciate every single one of you, and have a great week. Until next time.